Good morning, dear listeners. Today we continue our podcast series on the 7 laws of reality, and we also connected to the No Age Ontology book and the 7 laws of reality book. And today we start our podcast with the difference between rebirth and reincarnation. So we have these two terms, and many times they're used in the same way, referring to the same thing. But there is a difference, because reincarnation, as it is spoken of in the Hindu tradition, and also used the term used to be used in the Christian tradition, refers to the transmigration of a soul or transmigration of a particular entity which is foundable, a soul or a consciousness which is foundable, with its own existence. Whereas rebirth, as it is spoken of and explained in Buddhist texts of different traditional Buddhist texts, is slightly different, because it doesn't entail that there is a being, a self, or an identity, a consciousness with an identity which is reborn, but simply is the reaggregation of the karmic imprints from a previous life or previous lives, which reaggregate and form a new being in space and time. It's a little bit more difficult to understand this term, because it entails the understanding of no self or no identity, and so basically we have to also understand that the mind, the timeless mind of pure being, which is the source of all sentient beings, is a timeless event. So it's not within time. But within this reality, when it doesn't recognize itself, it creates the conditions and the causes for self-grasping consciousness to arise. Now, once this has arisen, the consciousness will continue to transmigrate, but this consciousness is not something tangible or foundable. It's simply a grasping event. So at the end of one life, the 5 aggregates which compose the sentient beings disintegrate. So the form, the body, all the constituents, all the feelings, everything, and also the consciousnesses, they sort of dissolve into the timeless space of pure being. At that point, if the timeless space of pure being doesn't recognize itself in what is called self-awareness, or awareness of its own reality, then this creates the causes and conditions for the consequences of what used to be the consciousness in the previous life to reaggregate and to arise again. So basically, this space-like awareness as an infinite sort of a self-memory, which means that once it dissolves, then it reaggregates itself, and all the actions produced by the self-grasping consciousness of the being that has dissolved will reaggregate, reform into a new being. So this is more or less the concept of rebirth, although it's a little difficult to explain. But in my book, the No Age Ontology book, there are some further explanation. And so the reincarnation entails an entity which reincarnates. Rebirth is simply it's the continuation of the consciousness through cause and effect. So a consciousness dissipates and a new consciousness arises. Now, the new consciousness is somewhat a continuation of the old consciousness, although it could be slightly different depending on the causes and conditions produced. And so we cannot say it is the same being, we cannot say it's another being. It's simply a continuation. It's simply a gap. So the death of one consciousness is a gap between the everlasting and infinite continuum of time and space of mind. Okay, so this concludes the brief explanation, and more information can be found in the books 7 Laws of Reality and No Age Ontology. Thank you for listening.